Welcome to Sports Geek Throwback. Here's your host, the sports geek himself, Sean Callanan.
G'day, I'm Sean Callanan from Sports Geek, and welcome to Sports Geek Throwback, where I pick out the best bits from the Sports Geek podcast archive. For this week's Sports Geek Throwback, I go back to episode 200 with Bill Schlough, published back in June 25, 2018. Bill is the Senior VP and CIO at the San Francisco Giants, playing in the Major League Baseball. Remember, if you need help with your digital marketing or sponsorship teams, please get in touch. That's what we love doing in applying the digital to dollars principle to help your team build revenue. In this throwback episode, Bill and I discussed the early days of rolling out tech at was then named AT&T Park, now Oracle Park. Remember, you can listen to the full episode at sportsgeekhq.com/200. Enjoy.
And I think I've said this multiple times on the podcast, and I'll say it while you're here. I love this place, AT&T Park. It's all the views. It's a tremendous place to watch ball. But as a sports geek, it's awesome from a technology point of view. And I do understand that the internet in Australia is terribly slow, and I joke that the Wi-Fi you've got rolled out here is better than my house. But you guys were so early on that tech rollout and providing things like Wi-Fi to fans. And I remember the early days of going to, Seat in, 2010, 2011 and the struggles, and people were discussing, how do we do it? Who pays for it? Why do we do it? And you guys were so ahead of that. You want to take us back to those decisions and rolling, all the infrastructure for fans at AT&T?
Sure, happy to. And when I think back, when we were building this ballpark, there were three key technologies I was involved in. So when I was hired here, they created the position of CIO.
Yep.
And to my knowledge, there wasn't one at any sports organization back then. But because of geographically where we are and the fact we were moving from Candlestick, building this new ballpark in downtown San Francisco, there was an expectation that technology would play a big role in that.
Yep.
And it's fun to think back and think of how innovative things seemed way back when. I was just talking to somebody about this earlier today. We provided 6 voice and 6 data jacks in every suite when we opened here, and we provided free high-speed dial-up to anyone who wanted to plug in when we opened the park back then. So crazy to think. Another thing we innovated at when we first opened was we were the first baseball team that we know of to move from VHS tapes to digital video. And digital video back then was not stored on hard drives. It was readable and writable CDs and DVDs that we used for video. And we'd instead of giving the players a VHS tape to take home with them, we'd give them a DVD, which was really innovative back then. And then the other one was on the ticketing front, which is really where, Russ Stanley, who runs ticketing for us, has been an innovator for so many years. But before StubHub existed, building this park, we can vividly remember, the team went out to Baltimore because Camden Yards was a great example that we looked to as an innovative park, and went out there and said, okay, we're going to sell out every game, and we're going to sell 28,000 season tickets to this park, but nobody's really going to go to 81 games. So how are we going to avoid them leaving those tickets in the drawer? What are we going to do? And the Orioles came up with this innovative solution that they called the Scalp Free Zone at that park. And our group went out there and saw it, and they said, this is awesome. So they got this area at the park where there's season ticket holders on one side, the public on the other, and the season ticket holders can resell to the public at any price at face value or below, and then they can get rid of those tickets in their drawer. They don't have to go home. We love that idea, except for 2 things. Number one, if you're coming to the ballpark, or if you're not going to use your ticket, why come to the ballpark?
Yeah.
And number 2, why would you make them sell for face value or below?
Yeah.
We want to make these guys happy and have them make a profit. So that's when we launched within weeks at the same time StubHub launched the secondary market, what we call the double play ticket window. So back then, StubHub didn't exist. So that was really innovative. Providing dial-up connectivity in suites, which ultimately became DSL and then Wi-Fi and then what it is today. So it's fun to think back to those early days and just the geography of where we were and our fan base, kind of really drove us to need to roll out these types of technology because the fans would expect it.
Yeah, because you've got an early adopter fan in this market. They're willing to try. I think I've been on the BART a couple of times and I keep seeing these ads for apps I've never heard of because they launch in San Francisco and in the Valley because people go, I'm going to give that a go. And so you've got this tech progressive fan base that were willing to do that. But
It comes from all angles too. What's cool about being here is, okay, your fans demand it. And then the staff that we hire, naturally, a lot of them are also pretty progressive. And then from the top, our ownership, which is a group of 30 folks, many of whom were successful as a result of businesses they started in tech. It comes from the top as well. So from all angles, it's kind of symbiotic and reinforces itself, And one of the things that attracted me to the Giants originally, our mission statement today, which we modified slightly, is we're dedicated to enriching our community through innovation and excellence on and off the field. And to come to a sports franchise that had innovation in its mission statement, just seemed like a perfect fit for me, way back 20 years ago.
If you like this Sports Geek Throwback episode, please check out the full episode at sportsgeekhq.com. Please share Sports Geek with your sports business colleagues. We appreciate you sharing. We love working with podcast listeners. Please get in touch so we can help your team. Go to sportsgeekhq.com/phone call. All Sports Geek episodes are available at sportsgeekhq.com and all podcast platforms.